G'day guys, ZiggyD here, and today I want to give you guys a bit of a recap of some of the testing I've been doing working on a new build for the new 4-month Hardcore League that comes out on March 5th. Now, after playing my Wander in the 1-week race, my Magic Find support Wander, I thought, I need to play a Magic Find build again when I start this new Hardcore League. Magic Find is so addictive, the amount of loot you find is insane, and I want to be able to create a build that's going to be able to Magic Find some bosses. It's going to be able to do it cheaply, quickly, safely, because it's going to be in Hardcore, and be able to get me the gear and currency I need to bankroll some more interesting builds this 4-month league coming up. In the previous 4-month league, I was pretty strapped for cash pretty much the whole time. Everything I made with each character went back into that character, but with this one, I want to actually make some currency so that I can make some more interesting builds this time around. Maybe some slightly higher end builds, or some builds with a bit more potential in the long range. So I decided to come up with a dual Totem Raging Spirits Summoner, and that's going to be my Magic Finding Hardcore build for the new 4-month leagues. So, over the past 2 days on livestream, I've been theory crafting and testing out and playing a build, and I've done just a few more refinements tonight, and I'll be continuing the build tomorrow as well. But I wanted to give you guys here on YouTube a bit of a recap how things are going, so maybe you can sort of follow the progress of the build, and I'll let you know how the actual testing goes in the end. So I think before we get into explaining like the build in too much detail, let's just kind of show you like a little early taste of what the idea is, how it's going to work. So cue Space Jam music. Oh yeah. I love Leaf Slam, it's so good. So as you can see, my move speed's pretty good there. And now let's get, I'm having some mana issues at the moment, but we'll be able to sort this out. Then to summon two of these guys, and then there's the Flesh Offering. Go ham, little skull bros, go ham. There they go. Oh, trying to raise some zombies to fight me, are you? Not quite. Oh no, don't die, don't die. Okay. So that's a bit of a taste of the idea behind the build. There's still a long way to go. I'm only level 53 at the moment. And there's still a lot I have to do in terms of optimizing and even like leveling up and even getting a lot more passive nodes that I don't currently have. Currently, actually, looking at this, you see I'm playing as a summoner now. I'm actually playing as a dual totem summoner, so not dealing any damage myself. And I actually have 0 minion nodes. Literally 0 minion nodes. I don't have any. I will eventually be getting a few, but none at the moment. And as you saw, that's pretty reasonably effective. The first time we actually switched to dual totem, we kind of made the commitment to say, alright, let's do this, let's see how this works, the dual totem Raging Spirit setup, and killed Hillock in like a few seconds like that, and I was like, alright, this actually has some potential. So what I want to do is be able to go to Piety, go to Dominus, or Merveil earlier on in the Hardcore League if the Hardcore League is a bit challenging, and essentially have a few zombies there as a meat shield, maybe self-cast some skeletons to help pin the boss still, hold them still, and then put up a dual totems, one totem on either side of them, that will then spawn very quickly a lot of Raging Spirits. And then, to give those Raging Spirits and all my other minions a lot of extra damage, I'll be stacking auras like Wrath, Anger, and Haste, to make them go super fast, and then after everything else is set up, I cast Desecrate twice to summon 6 corpses, and then Flesh Offering. Now I also have a lot of increased duration, so the Flesh Offering, in addition to consuming 6 corpses, actually has pretty increased duration as well. And this gives, as you can see, minions 45% increased move speed and 46% increased attack speed at its current level. So basically, they just go uber turbo mode. In addition to running Haste a little bit later on, and the 2 damage auras, I'm going to have very fast attacking, high elemental damage Raging Spirits. And this is my plan, and so far, it looks like it's going pretty well. So I'm actually up to Act 2 now. I kind of jumped through to Act 2 pretty early. I'm only level 53, and we've been doing some Fell Shrine runs, because I need to, I actually progressed so quickly, because I was able to just like leap slam through all the different zones. I progressed a bit too quickly without actually grinding any mobs. Leap slamming like that is addictive. And that comes from Brightbeak, and this will be the endgame weapon I run, basically, for the dual purpose of giving me some resistances. As a summoner, your main hair weapon doesn't actually matter that much. But this gives me some resistances, but it also gives me a way to move around very fast. And farming bosses, a big part of it is how fast you can actually get to the boss. And skipping over Lunaris and skipping over the Scepter of God zones as quickly as possible without actually fighting stuff in there, Leap Slam is definitely the best way to do that. So simple as getting Brightbeak, Leap Slam, and faster attacks, and you're good to go. And you saw how fast that progresses, and there's still ways to go in terms of leveling up faster attacks and things like that. And when I'm running haste later on as well, my leap slamming speed will be even faster. So mobile, and then when I get there, pin the bosses down, do a lot of damage really quickly, and take them out. And this is all with very little actual investment. The only summoner unique I'm rocking at the moment is Breath, and that's like 1 Chaos max in a new league, maybe 2 if it's very well rolled, but that's about it. That's about it. I actually found this 5-link myself, but I should be able to do this on a 4-link for a while until I get a 5-link in the new leagues. So let's take a look at, I think first my gearing situation, what I'm actually running in terms of links, because I think this is probably what I'm going to run. I'll have a +2 minion helmet. Currently I'm just using Peregrine for leveling, but I'll have a +2 minion helmet later. I use Raise Zombie, Minion Life, Melee Splash, and Life Leech. Now I can potentially switch out Melee Splash for something else, but I kind of think the zombies need to be able to deal with adds, like when bosses spawn adds and things like that, to help me take them down a bit more quickly. So I think the zombies will take on that role, because the Raging Spirits I'd rather be maxed out single target damage as much as possible. So the raid zombies should mostly be focused on being tanky, and that's why I'm running Life Leech, and I'll also be getting a few things from the tree to help them sort of leech life and regen and things like that as well. So that's going to be the setup for that. As I said, I may end up changing Melee Splash for something like Minion and Totem Elemental Resistance, like this one here, to give them some more elemental resistances, since I won't be running Purity myself. You've already seen the Leap Slam setup. I'll also just be having Summon Skeletons just by themselves. Eventually what I might do is have Summon Skeletons linked with Culling Strike and Item Rarity as my actual culling ability. I haven't decided yet what I want my culling ability to be, but I think that makes sense, and I think that'll be nice and easy to use, since I won't have to change anything on my hotbar then. And then I've got a Rejuve Totem, just for if I need to heal my zombies up in between. I might not eventually need that, hopefully. Flesh Offering and Faster Casting, pretty important. Eventually maybe I can link that to increased duration as well. I'd also like to have Desecrate perhaps linked to Faster Casting as well, so I can spam that much more fastly, get that out really quickly, and potentially also get a Curse. Probably Elemental Weakness, but I don't have that running just yet. I've got Anger, Wrath, and Clarity linked up to Reduce Mana, and eventually I'll also have Haste linked up to Reduce Mana, but that's a little bit later on down the road. Currently, Summon Raging Spirits, only level 13, is linked to Spell Totem, Faster Casting, and Multi-Strike and Minion Damage. So the idea behind Multi-Strike is to, make them attack much faster, take advantage of the auras much more quickly. Faster Casting is to get more of the actual Raging Spirits out. Faster Casting gave us about 2 to 3 more Raging Spirits at any one time, so I think that was pretty effective. The more Raging Spirits we have out, the more actual entities there are to take advantage of our auras. And the Spell Totem is so that I can actually position them close. Now, the theory behind going Dual Totem over self-cast Raging Spirits is, firstly, you can get more out with Dual Totems than you can by casting them by yourself, and it actually allows you to position the Raging Spirits right next to the boss. As you saw, I put the totems just close to the boss. If I was actually hanging back a bit and self-casting, they have to travel from me to the boss. Since Raging Spirits only have a limited duration, as you can see there, 3.5 seconds, by the time they get there, they pretty much maybe do one attack and then disappear. So the idea is to have them appear right on top of the boss so that they can just start attacking straight away. And I can kind of position the totems a little bit further away if I need to, but for the most part it gets them much closer. So I think that's the main strength behind Spell Totem, that's why I've gone for Spell Totem. If I get a 5th link, it'll be either faster attacks or increased duration to further increase that duration. But I think that's pretty much it for gear. I can actually, as I said, I'm not really running anything very special at the moment in terms of actual gear. Eventually the idea is to run as much rarity and quantity gear as I can, or just rarity gear if quantity is removed from the game. So that's that plan, pretty basic stuff, and a few little other things I can tinker around with, and I'll let you guys know how that turns out. But let's go take a look at the passive tree here. I can actually full screen this for you guys. Now, if you've been watching this build's progress on stream, you'll notice I've actually changed quite a few things just recently tonight. And I think this is probably a better, more optimized setup to run. So I'll either respec this character, because it's a test character, or I'll just leave it and run this new setup when I run the final build in the Hardcore League, assuming it works out and I like it a little bit later on. So, we start off through Scion. When I level, I'll level Spectral Throw and I just go through projectile damage, nice and easy. Later on, switch over to mana. We get the excellent Scion Life Wheel. And these ones are actually super important down here. Skill duration, 45% total, increases the amount of time that the Raging Spirits are actually on the field. So this allows us to get like probably like 3 to 4 more Raging Spirits out in total at any one time. So pretty good stuff. Each one becomes more effective. And it also increases the duration of things like Flesh Offering, which buffs up the minions as well. So that's both of those really excellent synergy, and that's the main reason I wanted to start Scion, because it'd have excellent access to that while also being able to scoot around the tree sort of in a pretty good fashion. Now we get Grave Pact. This is mostly a minion damage, so minion damage, minion attack speed works really well, and minion damage. This should scale pretty well with my setup. And I get Life Leech, not for the Raging Spirits, but for the zombies to help keep them alive. Other than that, we head up through the left side of the tree, grabbing the Purity of Flesh cluster and Minion Instability. Now, the idea behind Minion Instability is that although Raging Spirits aren't directly targeted themselves, they do actually die if they get hit by splash damage or projectiles. Now, if that does happen, and that's usually going to happen when you're fighting bosses, like with Dominus's Cleave Attack, Blood Rain, Piety's like Lightning Ball, Piety's Ice Form, the Raging Spirits will occasionally die. Minion Instability will allow them to deal damage even if they just go up and die, otherwise they won't be dealing any damage. So I think this will be pretty good. However, it's only 33% of their max life, and I don't actually think the Raging Spirits have all that much life. So this is going to be one I test and decide whether it's worth it or not. Other than that, we get the full aura cluster here, and you'll notice we actually get pretty much all of the major aura clusters. And that's so we can stack the Anger, Wrath, Haste, Clarity combo, and still be able to, you know, have some mana to cast our skills and things like that. And also, the effect of the auras is really potent on the damage dealing auras like Wrath and Anger. So very powerful there, and that's the reason we stack those. Now we come down and grab Dual Totem as well. So we go Ancestral Bond, and I go through Totem Life. Since Totem damage doesn't actually affect the Raging Spirits, it doesn't increase their damage in any way. So no point grabbing anything other than these Totem nodes here. I did inspect some other ones I could potentially get, but you know, like Totem cast speed, 4% cast speed, not a big deal. Totem damage doesn't help. Shamanistic Fury doesn't help again. I don't really think any of the Totem nodes I've seen are worth it at all. We come down through here. This is a new cluster I decided to get. We get Minion Damage, we get Minion Life Regeneration, which will help basically a mini Vitality aura for our zombies, which should help keep them alive. And then Grave Expectations, which gives them some elemental resistances and an extra zombie and skeleton. So I think that cluster is well worth it, so I'm glad I've sort of added that in just recently. Other than that, we come through the ES, so we can actually go pretty hybrid on this character, just using armor ES gear and having a bit of extra ES on top of our gear. But I decided, originally I routed through Evasion and went down and got Iron Reflexes, but I thought, I don't think this is actually really necessary for this build, kind of a waste of points. So instead I go through these ES nodes, and this either gives me more defense, or if later I decide I need to go Eldritch Battery, it'll give me more mana. So I think these nodes actually do something for the build, whereas the Evasion nodes didn't. Even though I had to spend one more point to go through Energy Shield, I think this is more worth it. And other than that, some life mana nodes. I had to get quite a few of these little mana nodes here to be able to actually start casting as early as I did. I sort of respec'd over around Brutus in Act 1, and it worked out alright. I might go a bit longer before I respec when I actually play in the hardcore league, because it might be a bit safer just to keep Spectral Throwing for a while. But I've determined that you can respec in Merciless Act 1 over to Summoner from Spectral Throw, and it worked out pretty well. So, overall, I'm pretty happy with how it's going. I'm excited to keep streaming and testing it out. So make sure you tune into the live stream if you want to see how this build goes and how it ends up. But otherwise, I'll probably do another build recap at the end of my testing phase for this build. Anyway, that's it for now. I'm ZiggyD, and thanks for watching.